Hey man, you ever look into flat Earth?
Okay, these series of videos will be for those that appreciate observational work and observational proof of no curvature. All right, and I'm gonna excuse the audio on this. There's somebody there blowing at the park, so it's going to be a little noisy. All right, I want to show how I'm up higher here on this deck. I'm up on this deck. And the tide's quite a ways out. It ain't a low tide, but it is a fairly low tide. Look at that. We go right around here. Okay, to explain, I'm up higher. I'm about 12 to 13 feet off the water, and I wanted to start out this day by a higher perspective point. So I went up on this little observation deck at the Pine Island Park. As you can see, the visibility up to this. This is a halfway marker. It is a rack, but it's just a halfway marker. It has a red light flashing on it. Um, at night, you can see the red light flashing. On some days, sometimes the red light's out, but usually it's flashing. Um, so, I wanted to use that as a base point. That's really pretty much it. And as you can see, the boats coming out of the Hernando Beach channel are distorted, um, and it's also in the mirror, this mirroring zone. I call it the mirroring zone because in this mirroring zone, I feel as if that's where stuff is being hidden. Um, I'm not the best at editing videos, and I'll admit that I'm terrible at editing. And really, what I like to do is just show my observations in the raw, and let people decide for themselves what they see. Yes, I get a little better focus here and there. Sometimes I lose a focus and I have to get it back depending on, zooming in, zooming out. You lose the focus when you're in manual focus. I don't use the autofocus because it seems to focus in and out on me way too much. I don't know if it's just because I'm usually at a low perspective and it tries to focus in on the water and then it tries to focus further out and back and forth. So I find that using the manual focus works best for me. But what I wanted to really show is how on this particular day, um, and I really wanted to start out at the beginning of the month, but I really wanted to put this out. Here's this tree that I've been filming for years too, that blew out in one of the storms a couple of years ago. Um, but look at the island. These islands are floating, and you can see this mirroring effect. And we know that these islands are floating. So what's being hidden? Everything from the visible water line up to the edge of that island and beyond. This is what gets hidden within this mirroring zone. And please don't shut this off and just blow it off and think that this isn't going to show you anything. I mean, even right there, you can see the channel markers that appear to be bending. They're not bent. It's just the mirror image. But again, within that mirror, it hides objects, boats, anything within it that's not high enough will be chopped off, cut off, and hidden, as you've seen with the boats, with that first boat going by. So again, um, I try to explain things the best that I can. Um, and you can see here how this guy that's over here in his boat, he's actually in a boat. Um, well, one of them I know, yeah, this guy here, he's walking off the shore, but we'll get back to that. I just got there to the park, so I'm scouting around. I'm looking at, this illusion, and I am going to call it an illusion because people think that this is where the curve begins, is at the water, and everything beyond it is being refracted upward because of what science tells us. No, it's not exactly true what they have embedded into our brains as truth, because over 3 years of observations, I see right through this illusion anymore. Um, People want to say that uh, refraction is responsible for pulling things up and laying them perfectly flat out in front of us. Has got to be the craziest thing that we all ever believed in our entire lives, because anybody that goes out and spends some time doing observations, and I don't mean just going out, 1 or 2 days and observing. I mean going out for a long period of time and doing long observations under different conditions all over the place, or mainly from the same location or close to the same locations, and you will obviously start seeing this refraction or this hidden area within this mirage zone, mirror zone. You'll watch birds fly. You can obviously see the boat, but people want to say the bottom of the boat is missing. Well, it's not missing. It's there. It's just hidden. It's hidden within this mirror. And I don't expect anybody to take my word for it. My whole thing is just to inspire others to go out and do exactly what I've been doing for 3 years so they can see for themselves. Go out and try to debunk flat Earth by finding the curve and then prove it. Prove that it is the curve, because that's how I started out, and I was bound and determined to debunk flat Earth because I don't know, I just did not trust it. I did not think that um, it was even possible with all the evidence that I had seen throughout my life, 50 years of going out and living in the world and being taught um, the globe theory and everything. Uh, I just could not accept it. So I had to go out and prove it to myself. And that's exactly what I did through observations and research. I've researched mirroring, uh, mirages, uh, refraction, diffraction, shadow, shading, light, light bending. You know, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you exactly everything that I've researched, but I'll tell you, convergence was one of them, parallel lines, um, you know, just seeing what I have seen throughout my 3 years of observations really has led me to be a proud flat earther. So, people come on my channel and other flat earth channels, um, and they just call us all kinds of crazy names. I've actually had 3 death threats, or 2 death threats. I've been told they're going to beat me up or whatever a couple more times, but uh, this is just crazy talk from crazy people that, just because you don't carry their belief with you and accept what they've accepted, they want to kill you. It's kind of crazy to me, because I've never wanted to harm anybody that believed in the globe, because I was a globe believer myself. Now, look at this boat. You say, well, look at these guys. Their boat is hidden behind the curve. Well, keep watching, folks, because part 2 will kind of be the same as part 1 here. But then when I get into part 3 and 4, you will watch this curve vanish, and you will all of a sudden start seeing boats in their entirety on top of the water, moving across the plain, across the pond, without any real blockage. Maybe a little distortion, but no blockage. Now, this day, it actually started out as a fairly good day of visibility at this height. But what I do later on is I actually go down much lower. And I mean much lower. And you'll see when we get into part 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so on, how this illusion will become very um, clear, and you will see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, this is the Crystal River power plant. Of course, you see it. To me, it is being lensed or looming, so it's actually pulling it closer. Um, and this is just my opinion of it, because there's a lot of questions about looming, whether or not things actually get larger or pulled in. I think they get more or less really diffracted down, um, or refracted down and not refracted up. But see, science has flipped it on us, and they tell us it's being refracted up, pulled up from behind the curve, and again, laid out perfectly flat in front of us. Now, come on, folks. You really got to go out there and use your own mind, and, open your eyes and really look at what I'm showing. Because when we get into part 3, 4, 5, and 6, you'll start seeing how the visibility just clears right up. And here's the other power plant. Both of them are 27 miles away. And, people will say, well, why does this one look different than the other one? And it's because of the different angle of light being shined on it. And that, again, is my opinion. You see this point of this island out here. I've actually had the water look like it was being cut off in front of this island, not beyond the island. And things are, okay, they're blurry right now because I don't have a good focus on it. But you'll see how that water is being separated here, just above the hard water line. And that right there alone is kind of where that mirroring begins. And you'll see here as I track to my west how this mirror line is going to start mirroring the islands. And again, anything within that mirror zone that's not high enough will be actually hidden. Um, and again, I'm not wanting anybody to take my word for it. I just want to inspire others to go out there and do exactly what I've been doing. All right, so this is going to be the end of part 1. I'm going to keep making these little short videos. I think it's easier for people to watch. They'll all be about 15 minutes long, maybe some a little shorter, depending on the camera settings. And if not, I might wind up making them all about 15 minutes. All right. Thanks again for watching, and be ready for part 2.